All right, we're back. Alex Barth along with Evan
was
Lazar,
quick.
live from July Stadium. As soon as we hopped over, you could see my food on the table back there. I was getting ready to eat. All right, the Patriots trade up. The pick is in. Evan, you want to do the honors?
Yeah, JoJuan Williams from Vandy. Obviously, the Patriots were in love with this pick, with this player, I should say.
Yep.
From the get-go, a lot of people thought that maybe they would jump at him at 32. I think that the run of wide receivers, Deebo Samuel, in particular, at the beginning of the second round, kind of pushed their hand a little bit to take N'Keal Harry first and then wait on JoJuan Williams. I know that a lot of people out there are going to not be too happy with the fact that they took a corner, but this is a very versatile cornerback, the guy that I think can play both on the boundary and play some safety as like a guy that they can match up against tight ends, bigger slot receivers, extremely physical at the line of scrimmage, good ball skills, checks a lot of different boxes for the Patriots. The Patriots don't have a guy right now, other than maybe Stephon Gilmore, in that cornerback group that has a ton of size. They really have a smaller cornerback group. Jonathan Jones, J.C. Jackson, Jason McCourty, even those guys are all under 6 feet tall. So they add a guy that's a little bit taller. I believe JoJuan's like 6'3". So they add a big guy, and I think that this is a nice pick for them, even if people are going to freak out that it's a corner.
I mean, the 40 was not what you're looking for.
But I think that
is he a safety? Did they just draft him as a safety?
They might have been. The beauty of the Patriots system is that they're able to kind of mask deficiencies like that, right? So Stephon Gilmore is your number one corner. He's not going to get the safety help.
Right.
If you put JoJuan on the boundary, then he's going to get the safety rotation, and that's where you're going to see that protection. This reminds me a whole lot of what the Patriots had with Darrelle Revis and Brandon Browner, right? You have one big physical man coverage corner on one side, and you have the shutdown all-pro on the other side. You rotate the safety over, you play some bracket coverage, or you play some cloud with some guys over the top of him, and you're able to protect against that long speed. And in other matchups, I think that you put him on a tight end in the slot. You can put him in a box as more of like a safety role, and you can really excel in that way too. That's the way the pick is going. They drafted a guy in N'Keal Harry in the first round who's a big slot receiver. They kind of see the league going in that direction a little bit with guys that are 6'2", 6'3", that are moving inside into the inside of the formation. You need somebody to cover that guy.
Right.
That's what JoJuan Williams is.
Is Brandon Browner the comparison? I know you don't like doing comparisons, but is Brandon Browner the comparison?
Yeah, I think that's a good comparison. I don't think that Brandon. I would hope for the Patriots' sake that he's a little bit better than Brandon Browner was.
Right. Well, they had Brandon. So yeah. I'm not talking about Patriots Brandon Browner. I'm talking about Legion of Boom Brandon Browner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, by the time Browner got to New England, it was a different. He was a different player.
Yeah.
So, and the trade, by the way, it was 56 and it was 100 and something, right?
101.
101. So one of the comp picks.
They traded their worst comp pick to move up and get their guy.
Yeah.
Which you can't really knock them for.
And they made this pick at. I want to make sure I have this all written down correctly, and it looks like they are getting ready to talk to him here. So we're gonna. No. Okay. So we can hang for a little bit. If you guys have questions, let me pull this up. If you guys have questions on the pick, we can talk about them.
This is a perfect example for the Patriots of we're just going to pick good football players and guys we like. We don't really care about
one thing. It's one thing I feel like, and again, we talked about corner being their deepest position. It's one thing to take a guy who's the best on the board. It's another thing to trade up for him.
Yeah, listen, I think that they really like the player. I really like the player too. I think that they love his flexibility. I think that they love his physicality at the line of scrimmage. And this is a guy that has rare movement skills for a dude that's that big. He's got 6'2", 6'3", and he's a guy that ran a sub 7.3 cone with that size. So he's a guy that can really change directions, really sink his hips. And go watch, Patriots fans, if you want to get excited about this pick, go watch JoJuan Williams shut down A.J. Brown. Again, his game against Ole Miss was one of the best corner tapes I saw of anybody in this class, and I'm not exaggerating with that. So that's what you're going to get out of him. I'm excited about the pick. I don't know if you can tell, but I really like the player. I think this is a really nice pick. I think that people are going to like this guy.
So they trade 101 and 56 for 46. They come away with JoJuan Williams, a corner, a safety. We will see and now we wait for 64 will be the next Patriots pick. So they get a big player. They do get a guy that has a lot of skill. Some of the questions with the combine numbers, but that's naturally what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's going to be some issues with his 40. I think there's some issues at the line of scrimmage at times with his jam. Not always the most accurate. Sometimes his footwork and his jam, it doesn't always stay square. You're going to turn on the game against Ole Miss against A.J. Brown, and you're going to say, this guy's awesome.
Yep.
Then you're going to go and you're going to turn on the game against Georgia, and you're going to see McCole Hardman and Riley Ridley run him around in the blender a few times. That's when you're going to start to get worried about him. The game against Georgia, I think, was really interesting, was that McCole Hardman beat him for a long touchdown down the sideline. Now, McCole Hardman has 4.3 speed, right? That's a burner. Right. The issue that I had with it was he's got, in press technique, gets one of the fastest players in college football, and he doesn't have any safety help. That's not going to happen here in New England. Bill Belichick's not going to put him in that situation too often. So I think you're going to be optimistic about that.
Did they take him at 45 or 46? I'm seeing different.
I don't know. You figure that one out. They took him at 45.
Okay, they took him at 45.
Yeah.
So 45 for 56 and 101. What does this do for the Patriots roster now? Because they had a lot of corners on the roster last year. Does this create an odd man out if somebody was a regular contributor last year?
I think that, this creates a situation now where, listen, that Jason McCourty deal was not necessarily a guarantee of a roster spot. It was kind of like a prove it, we'll see type deal.
So even after the year Jason had last year, you don't
think that Jason stays on the team because of Devin. I don't think you cut the brothers. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
I think that Duke Dawson, I think this puts him squarely on the hot seat. Like, this is saying to Duke Dawson, like, you better come ready to play next season because we got a guy that could probably play the star role, that safety, slot corner role that Duke Dawson was drafted to play pretty well in Joe Juwan. So, listen, I really like.
They're similar players.
Joe Juwan's much bigger.
Okay.
He's much taller.
Again, I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes a safety.
I think he's got some safety attributes to him. I think what you're looking at, they wanted Obi Melifonwu, I think, to be what they want Joe Juwan Williams to be. I think Obi's now, obviously more of a depth player, practice squad type guy. I think that Joe Juwan's the type of guy, though, that really is going to have some abilities to do both, to play boundary and to play in the slot more like a safety.
Yeah.
When you go up against teams that have those monster wide receivers on the outside, you can play them on the outside because those type of guys that are 6'3", 6'4", jump ball guys, they're not going to outrun them.
And there goes Greedy. I was about to ask, so what's up with Greedy Williams? Greedy Williams just goes to the Browns.
I think Joe Juwan was their guy ahead of Greedy Williams all along.
Well, I was just going to say in general, how far Greedy Williams followed. I
had Greedy graded higher, but the Patriots never did.
I didn't think that. And I mean, he's more of a zone corner, right?
I wouldn't be shocked if we find out, and I don't know if we'll find out, but I wouldn't be shocked if we find out that Joe Juwan Williams was their number one corner on their board.
Really?
That based off of everything that we heard in the pre-draft process, based on what you look at his size and the ability to change directions as well at that size, the ability to play the ball down the field, the ability to play both zone and man. There's proof on his tape of him ball hawking and zone coverage as well as playing in man coverage. I think there's going to be a lot of things that people like about him.
All right, so now what are we looking at? We'll kind of keep this short because we've essentially been on the air for like 2 straight hours here. What are we looking at 64?
I think the quarterback's back in play. I think that...
Do you think Greer gets there? Or is that more Ryan Finley?
I think Greer could get there. I think the quarterback's back in play. I think Irv Smith, they could trade even back up. I wouldn't be surprised to draft Irv Smith.
So should we not go off there is what you're saying?
I don't know. I just think that Irv Smith is a guy that they need a tight end, whether it's Jace or Irv Smith tonight. I would expect one of those guys to be in play.
Sorry. We're going to get off the air. We'll be back in about 35, 40 minutes. You can follow along at Patriots CLNS on Twitter. This has been live Patriots coverage from Gillette Stadium, powered by betonline.ag. For Evan Lazar, I'm Alex Barth again. We'll talk to you again probably right around the top of the 9 o'clock hour as the Patriots get ready. We'll try to get on right before the Patriots make that 64th, right, is the next one now? 64th pick.